Imagine building a team that not only exceeds your targets, but does so with as minimal stress to you as possible. In 2024, the rules for high-performing teams are evolving. When a leader is not intentional about their team-building process, they end up creating a team that needs to be micromanaged. I created this video to give you 5 keys to building a high-performing team, a team that can perform at a high capacity while also serving your customers better, to not only help you grow your business, but to reduce your stress in the process. My name is Brandon Allen. I'm the founder of New Work Revolution, and for the past 15 years, we have helped hundreds of business owners go beyond the profits, which means growing their business while also reducing the amount of stress that they're under in the process. So when we talk about building high-performing teams, the first place that I like to start is around values. Values are one of those things that's a team unifier. Values are a set of behaviors, a set of rules, a set of standards that everyone in the organization has raised their hands and said, we subscribe to these rules, these standards. We are willing to work at this standard and be accountable to this standard. Values are the veins that pump blood into all the different areas of the organization. And when I see leaders use these well, they're usually also leading a team that's a high-performing team. So if you're a leader and you've ever thought about values and you think, well, what's the value in actually doing a values exercise? Is it something that's just philosophical, or is there some tangible benefits? For me, and for a lot of leaders that I work with who create high-performing teams, values informs the type of people they hire. Values informs the type of customer they work with, the experience that they deliver, the types of products and services that they offer. Veins are the things that pump blood into the organization, into all the different facets of your organization. The more clearly defined and the more interesting your values are, the more unified your team will be, and you've created the foundation for high-performing work to happen. The second thing that I talk about here around keys and what I want you to think about is understanding the makeup of your team. What roles do you want to have on your team? Not only in the current organization that you're leading, but also in the future as you grow. What are the different positions that you might need to hire for? And here's the thing about this. It's not only important to identify the types of roles that you want, it's also really important to get clear on what are the different responsibilities and roles mapped out for each individual person. I don't know how many times I've worked with a team where I noticed that the team members are not clear on their role in the organization. And not only are the ground level employees not clear, the managers, the other executives, and a lot of times the owner of the business isn't clear on what their role is. And when people aren't clear, it's hard for them to perform at the level that we want. It's hard for them to hit targets when we haven't clearly defined what their responsibilities and what the outcomes of those responsibilities really need to be. So if you are watching this and you've noticed like, hey, I could be more clear about this, not only for myself, but also for others, this is a good time to just set aside some time and think about how you can get more clear about the roles and responsibilities for each team member in your organization, while also looking into the future and deciding what are the future roles and responsibilities that we need to create as our business grows. The third key to building a high-performing team is all about intentional hiring. So many small business owners have a process for hiring that's different every time they do an interview. A candidate walks in, they sit down with the candidate, they start asking them questions. Where did the questions come from? They just made them up right there on the spot. Every time they do an interview, it's different. The results are different. The outcomes are different. There's no clearly defined process. This makes hiring not only very time-consuming and difficult, but if you notice that your hiring isn't producing the kind of candidates or hires that you really want, you can't go back and look at your system if you don't have one. If you want more predictable results in your hiring process, if you want to better ensure that you are hiring people who are qualified and are a good fit for the culture of your organization, create an intentional hiring process. This is one of those things that takes a little bit of time, but you'll be so glad that you did it. Not only will it make your hiring process more efficient, it'll also make your hiring process a hell of a lot more effective. The fourth area, so important, onboarding is such an important key to building high-performing teams. I know a lot of leaders who skip this step. They hire a team member, they bring them in, they sit them at a desk. Maybe they have someone who is quitting or maybe got fired from the organization and they're training the new person. That sounds absurd. I see it all the time. The leader isn't really involved in that. The person who hired him isn't really involved in that. And they sort of kind of languish and they kind of are left to figure out the job. If you want to set the tone for the relationship, a great onboarding process will help a team member know right from the start what's good about working in your organization. And I'll tell you this, a lot of us leaders, we're really good at telling people what's good about our organization. We're excited about it. We can't wait to tell you what we're excited about. But what we forget to tell people is here's some things about our organization that you might struggle with. Here's what's hard about working here. Now, some people will say, well, gosh, why would I say that to someone? I want to manage someone's expectations. If this has ever happened to you, because I know it's happened to me, and I know a lot of you watching this can relate to this, I've had people pump up a job to me and get me really excited about it, and then I get into the job and I realize what they said wasn't really the reality of what the job really entailed. It was not nearly as cool or important or exciting as that person led me to believe. Now my enthusiasm level goes from here all the way down here. And it's really hard to get someone past that process of really, once their enthusiasm has gone away, of really pumping that up again for them in the future. Onboarding should be very clear about what's good, what's not so good, what to expect, what agreements that we want to create with a new employee, and what kind of perks, benefits, and other things that we would want someone to know right up front so that they're clear on how we work and how things work in the organization. And I'll tell you this right now, do not leave a new employee to be trained by someone who is quitting. Not all the time, but most of the time, someone who is quitting is doing so because they are not enthusiastic about the work. I don't know why the hell you would have someone who's quitting train someone who's brand new. It makes zero sense. And if you fired that person, I've seen this happen, it makes absolutely zero sense why you would have this person train someone else. And that's because a lot of times leaders say, well, I'm busy, I don't have time to get to it, but this person has a lot of time because they just got fired or they're quitting and their last day is coming up soon. So don't do that. That is a waste of your valuable time and that person's career by putting them in that sort of position. The fifth area is investing in your team. Train, develop, and coach them. Who needs this? Everyone. Here's the analogy that I use, and this is how we do new team members a lot. We take them, we put them at a desk, and we just hope to God they figure it out. We hope that they will just kind of pick it up and they're quick learners and they'll get the job done. And we pray that that will be the case. And it's kind of like if you bought a plant and you took that plant and you put it in the darkest room in your house. You didn't water it. It wasn't really in a good environment for growth, and then it dies. And what happens is when leaders put employees in those positions and they fail, it's like doing that with a plant and then being like, well, what a crappy plant. Boy, they don't make plants like they used to. Don't do this to your team members. Your team members need training, development, and coaching. Now, the thing about this is, and where we get off track on this area is there are employees that are so talented and so good that you can do that to them. You can put them at a desk and not give them a lot of oversight and they'll figure it out and they'll do a pretty good job. They'll figure that out. There are some employees who are good enough to do it. And that leads you to believe that maybe everyone should be like that. Most people are not. Most people need some intentional training and development to get their career off to the right start. And think about this. Every time you make a bad hire, it's going to cost your business anywhere from $25,000 all the way up into the six figures. In fact, when I worked in the corporate world, I had a boss tell me once, Brandon, every time you make a bad hire, it costs the organization $150,000. I never forgot about that. Now, I don't know if that stat was true, but it made an impact on me and it helped me to treat an employee like an investment. I've made an investment in this person. I want to make sure I cultivate this investment and really give it the attention that it deserves in order to nurture and grow that person's career so that they can become a long-term asset for my organization. Train, develop, and coach. It's so easy to overlook because we get busy, because we run out of time, but it's so essential to your organization. So there's 5 things, 5 keys to building a high-performing team. What is the area for you that you you feel like I need to pay a little bit more attention on in order to get the kind of high-performing results that I'm looking for from my team. By doing this, you're going to create more growth, and you're going to do that in a way that creates less stress for you. I know I want that, and I'm sure you do too. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching this video right now and your business is not growing at the level that you want it to, if you're not feeling as enthusiastic about your business as maybe you used to, or maybe as you want to, do me a favor, go to the description and check out the link to get access to the free tools and resources that we have available to you. And if you like this video, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss the next video that I put out.